All right. So we'll lie back. Ah. So just get comfortable here for a bit, but have the legs straight, the legs extended, the big toe mounds and the big toes touching. I generally find having my heels a little bit apart when I'm lying down like this allows me to get the full extension. If I bring my heels together, it kind of disorganizes things a little bit. Standing, it doesn't have that effect, but lying down, it seems to want to have the heels a little bit apart. So find your own space for that. Again, start with the big toe mounds and the big toes touching. And then if you are comfortable with it, having the heels together and the ankles slightly touching, that's all good. But kneecaps drawn up into the thighs. Lift the inner edge of the shoulder blades. Take the outer deltoids into the floor. Just take a few breaths here into this nice, full open chest. Then let's go right into the pranayama. So take your belt. And around the ball of the right foot, extend that right leg straight. Nothing intense. We'll work our way through this slowly as we warm up. But pay attention to extending the heel up and the sit bone down. So you keep the sacrum evenly on the floor, left and right sides. While you're doing that, don't forget the left leg. Extend that left leg straight, tighten that left kneecap into the thigh. Internal rotation on both thighs, but especially here, the one on the floor, take the internal rotation on that thigh, circularizing with the skin and muscles of that left thigh internally. You draw the right heel up just to where you start to feel that resistance in the hamstring. And just stay there. Don't push through that resistance. Focus more on extending the heel up, tightening the kneecap into the thigh, and moving the sit bone down. All right, let's switch to the second leg. Belt around the ball of the left foot. Take the left leg up. Same thing. Extend that right heel away, tighten the right kneecap into the floor, internal rotation on the skin and muscles of that right thigh. Extend the left heel up, the left sit bone down, tighten the left kneecap into the thigh. Again, moving the heel toward your head till you feel that resistance in the hamstring, and then just pause there. You can also extend up with the big toe mound into the belt and pull down a little on the little toe edge, the little toe side strap. That will also help you get that internal rotation on the extended up left leg, left thigh. And then return that foot to the floor. Switch the belt back to the right foot and extend that right leg up again. Tighten both kneecaps into the thighs. Again, with the left leg on the floor, extend that heel, tighten the kneecap, extend that left big toe mound, and internally circularize the skin and muscles of that left thigh. Draw that right heel toward your head. You can test it a little bit more. Just go where you're comfortable. Stay within your comfort zone here. And again, you can extend the right big toe mound up into the strap and pull down on the little toe side of the strap. And then reach up, holding both straps with your right hand, reaching up as far as you can without lifting your right shoulder blade from the floor. Externally rotate the right thigh so the foot turns out, but you're doing it from the thigh. And then extend that right foot over to the right side. Again, stay within yourself. Only go so far as you're comfortable, where you're not feeling too much of a strain here in this big tendon. I got to get the name of that tendon. There's a big tendon here in the inner thigh. You don't want to strain it. Just go to where you're feeling that engagement and pause right in that spot. Keep both kneecaps firmly drawn up into the thighs. And then back up to center and switch legs. Switch to the left leg. So again, both legs extended straight. The right leg on the floor, tighten that kneecap into the thigh, internal rotation with the skin and muscles of that thigh, extension with the right big toe mound. And then on the left leg, extend the heel up, the sit bone down. Extend the big toe mound into the strap. Pull down a little bit on the left, on the little toe edge. Draw the heel toward your head to where you're feeling the engagement of that hamstring. And then reach up on the strap, holding both straps with your left hand. Externally rotate that left thigh. Keep the right leg firm in place. And then bring that left leg and foot over to the left side. Again, stay within yourself. Don't strain this big tendon or your hamstring. Stay right at the edge of your comfort zone. Keep that right leg extended straight. Extend the left leg. And then back up to center. And return that foot to the floor. Switch the belt to the right foot. And bring that right leg up. I do this sequence in the classes fairly often. It's one of the most valuable sequences, I think, especially for people who run and cycle and swim. It's very important to opening up the lower body, and it's very closely tied to the Muladhara chakra. And we'll do a little pranayama today and activating, engaging the Muladhara chakra. This is really, from an energetic standpoint, that's what we're doing. So again, extend both legs straight. Draw that right heel toward your head. Give it a little bit of a test now to that hamstring. So you're warmed up now. Give it a little bit of a test. And then take that right hand up as high as you can without lifting the right shoulder blade. And then externally rotate that right leg. And then bring that right foot across to the right side. Keep the left side of the sacrum down as best you can. Breathe here, fully opening up, taking up as much space in this pose as you can. Stay here for a few more breaths. And come back up to center. Switch hands on the belt. If you like, you can hook your right thumb into the right groin seam here, keeping both sides of the sacrum on the floor. Bring that right leg over to the left side, just passing the midline. If you're like me, you'll really feel it all up on basically the iliotibial band. Keep the internal rotation on the left thigh. And then take the right hand out to the side, and then bring that right foot all the way over. to the left side. Let the left leg rotate. Keep the right shoulder blade on the floor if you can. If you're like me here, you'll feel it here in the piriformis, and again in the iliotibial band, but especially right there at the connection with the piriformis muscle into the hip. And then back up to center. Holding the strap with both legs, draw the heel toward your head to that point of resistance. And then we're going to lift your forehead up toward the knee. See if you can touch your forehead and your shin. And release. Switch the belt to the left leg. Bring that left foot up. And again, extend both legs straight. That right leg on the floor, kneecap firmly to the thigh. Internal rotation on that thigh as you extend that right big toe mound. The left leg, extend the heel up. Sit bone down. Extend the big toe mound up into the strap. Use the left-hand side of the strap to draw the little toe down, little toe side of the foot down. Draw the heel toward your head so you're feeling some of that engagement. And then extend up with your hand as far as you can. Left hand without lifting the left shoulder blade off the floor. And then externally rotate that left thigh and bring the left leg and foot over to the left side. Supta Parangustasana 2. Supine, extend up your big toe or foot. Take it out to the side for part 2. Stay with this for a few breaths. And back up to center. Switch hands on the belt. Hook your left thumb into the left groin seam if you wish, or use your palm to press that left thigh away. And then bring that left leg over, crossing the midline toward the right. Internal rotation on the right thigh. And now we'll go all the way over into the revolved version. Let the right leg rotate with the pose, bringing that left leg all the way over to the right. If you can, both legs stay straight. I really feel it through that piriformis here. And back up to center. And again now, holding the straps, one in each hand, draw the foot toward your head, and then lift your forehead toward your knee, seeing if you can touch your forehead to your shin. And then release. And then just let your legs fall out to the sides. Just be at ease. I love how this feels when I do that sequence that I stop, because it really feels like a real energetic openness in the lower body. Your mileage may vary. You may feel quite differently from it, but that's how it strikes me. All right, bend your knees, roll to your side, and come to a seated posture. Sit on a bit of a height. I'm going to use 2 blankets here. And just sit comfortably for a few breaths. Just want to touch on, it's not going to be a major inquiry into, but touch on the 3 main bandhas that we'll use in the pranayama a little bit later. But also, as we do some seated forward bends, you can use these bandhas at any point that you find yourself compatible for that. So, for people, who've been in my classes, you kind of know the routine. But basically, the Muladhara chakra, of course, is at the base of the spine. So if you follow the spine down to the tailbone, and then you just kind of drop off the tailbone, but not quite at the pelvic floor. That space between the pelvic floor and the bottom edge there of the tailbone, that's the space of the Muladhara chakra. And sort of energetically, physically, we locate it with a muscle action of tightening the pelvic floor. So I keep threatening myself that I'm going to do a session, sort of separate from this Tuesday night thing, but a session on pranayama. But short of that, there's you can look at the anatomy of it, and there are like really 3 layers of muscle in the pelvic floor, and they have different attachments in different positions, but the very lowest set of muscles really form a triangle, a urogenital triangle, from the very center of the perineum and then up, forming this urogenital triangle. And then there's there's an anal triangle that goes the other way. Those 2 triangles intersect at the very center of the perineum, and there's a tendon there, so that those muscles use that as the latch point for engagement. So when we do Mula Bandha, the energetic engagement of that Muladhara chakra, we want to do it in a muscular sense by really engaging very precisely that central perineal tendon. So that's the initial Mula Bandha. And then as we go through the breath, pranayama, the whole breath, and we're holding the breath, and we want to fully engage the Mula Bandha, then we want to engage the whole urogenital triangle and lift the pelvic floor up. So that's the Muladhara Bandha, or the Mula Bandha, the Muladhara chakra. Then, again, I'm sort of preaching to the choir here, but for others who may watch this, the Uddiyana Bandha is basically at the navel and solar plexus, just below the sternum, where we want to, for this bandha, we draw it in and up. Now, as you also know, if you do it after an exhale, you can create a vacuum here. So just to show, just for to show, it looks like this. So that's it takes effort, it takes a certain technique. The technique is that while you hold the breath up here, you expand your chest as if you're going to inhale, and by opening the chest, it creates a vacuum in the abdomen, and that draws the front of the abdomen back and lifts the diaphragm up. So that's the action then of the Uddiyana Bandha, where you're drawing back and up. Now, when we're doing this while doing an asana, you may not be able to do that vacuum. You may or may not, but if you aren't in a position to do the vacuum, you just do the muscular drawing back. So you can see when I do it muscularly, I can talk. It's not a problem. But if I create that vacuum, I have to hold my breath, so I can't talk while I'm doing it. So that's the difference. And then, of course, the third one is the Jalandhara bandha up here in the throat. And this one is where we lift the chest, and then we take the chin down toward that notch in the collarbone. We don't force it, we just move it in that direction. So we're lifting here and taking this down, lengthening the back of the neck. We don't want to crunch the back of the neck. We want to lengthen it and then take it down while keeping the torso upright. Okay, so those are the base. That's just the basic thing. So when we do a seated forward bend, you can engage those as you may wish. So let's do so. Extend the legs out in Dandasana staff pose. Let's start with the belt around both feet. Extend the legs straight. Use your leverage with the belt to help you really get a nice upright torso. So we're not rounding, we're keeping really a nice lifted chest. Kneecaps firm into the thighs, extending the heels, back of the knees and thighs into the floor. Extend the big toe mounds into the belt, and you draw back on the little toe edge of the feet. And then we'll inhale and exhale, come forward just to what's about the halfway point for you, whatever that is, no more than 45 degrees. So study the pose here. Keeping both kneecaps firm into the thighs, extending the heels forward, extending the sit bones back, lengthening the navel and sternum forward, kind of puffing out the chest, making the low back concave. Breathe here. And then inhaling, come back up into Dandasana. And then we'll do again. Once again, we're extending the heels forward, the sit bones back, kneecaps firm into the thighs, back of the knees and thighs on the floor. Torso lifts, chest open. Inhale, exhale, come forward to that starting point. Study the pose here for a moment. Extend the heels forward, sit bones back, kneecaps firm into the thighs, navel and sternum lengthening out over the legs. We'll inhale again, fully extend, and exhale, extend forward as much as you can. Keep the low back arched, and then fold into the full forward bend. Let the head and neck release. In fact, you bring your chin toward that notch in the collarbone, so you're in that Jalandhara bandha. Then as you're here, you can engage the Mula bandha and the Uddiyana bandha. Breathe here, evenly in and out the nose. And as you're here, I'm going to go ahead and talk you through a little breath work, which is entirely optional. Being in the pose is the main thing, but we can also do a little pranayama here. So without any bandhas except the Jalandhara bandha, the throat bandha, inhale fully. And then as you exhale, engage Mula bandha and Uddiyana bandha. Then release the bandhas and inhale. On the exhale, engage Mula bandha and Uddiyana bandha. With the inhale, release. Continue just a few more breaths in this way, if you wish. And then inhale and come up. All right, and now we'll take Janu Shirshasana. Bring the right heel against the inner left thigh. With your right hand on right knee, left hand on the floor, torso lifted and open. Turn the torso toward that left leg. Chest open. And then we'll take the belt again. Again, using the belt for leverage to help you lift and open the chest and keep it turned toward that left leg. Inhale. Exhale, come forward to that halfway point. Look forward, arch the low back. Extend the left heel forward and the left sit bone back. Lengthen the navel and sternum out over that left leg. You see, I like having the opportunity to have my elbows bent and lifted a bit, because it helps to maintain that lift and openness as opposed to like reaching and closing up. So we don't want to close up here. We want to stay open with the chest and long. And then inhale and come back up to an upright posture. Again, secure your grip on the strap. Turn the torso toward that left leg. Tighten that left kneecap into the thigh. Lift the chest, open the chest. Inhale. Exhale, come forward to that starting point, your first position. Study the pose here. Extend that left heel forward, left sit bone back. Back at the left leg into the floor. Navel and sternum extending out over that left leg. Kneecap firm into the thigh. And then again, inhale, lengthen, extend, and on the exhale, fold into the full forward bend. Let the head and neck release. Go into that Jalandhara Bandha. And again, you can practice with the Mula Bandha. Engage Mula Bandha, engage Uddiyana Bandha. And then I'll talk you through a couple of breaths there. So we'll inhale fully with no bandhas. And then as you exhale, engage Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. And then when you inhale, release those bandhas. And with the exhale, engage them. Inhale, release. Exhale, engage. And proceed on your own for a few more of those breaths. And then inhale and come back up. Let's go back to the right side. Bring the left foot against the right thigh. Extend that right heel. I'm going to do it this time without the belt. The belt is entirely up to you, if you use it or not. But again, extend that right leg straight. Turn the torso toward that right leg. Either using the belt or bringing your arms up. Inhale. Exhale, come forward. Take hold of the foot or the strap or your leg. Look forward, arching the low back. Inhale. Exhale, forward bend. And then you can go into your bandhas, your breath, as you may wish. I'm not going to talk you through it. Just breathe comfortably in and out the nose. And if you wish to engage those bandhas on your exhales, go right ahead. We'll stay here for several more breaths. Right, inhaling, come back up. Back to Dandasana, staff pose. And then bring the right foot against the left thigh. Turn the torso toward that left leg. Lift, open the torso, the chest. Either use the belt or bring your arms up, inhaling. Exhale, come forward. Again, either using the foot, leg, or belt as leverage. Lengthen the navel and sternum out. And with an exhale, fold into the full forward bend. Downward Shavasana.
And you can engage those bandhas as you may wish. But in any case, breathe comfortably, easily, evenly in and out the nose. Okay, ease your way up with an inhale.
And let's sit cross-legged for a few breaths. Okay, next, Triang Mukhaikapada Paschimottanasana. Three-footed foundation, seated forward bend. So for this, you may wish to have a block or a book underneath you. I think I'm going to go with nothing underneath for today. I feel like I'll be all right with that. But the idea is if you start in Dandasana, and then we're going to bring the right foot back into half hero pose. You want to be in a place where you can have both sit bones on the floor. So for me, I'm pretty close here, but if I catch the skin and muscles here of my left thigh buttock and pull it out this way, it actually helps me to level my sit bones onto the floor. So that works. So then I want to spread my toes a little bit, the right foot, kind of press down a little bit the ball of my right foot into the floor. I also like to take my thumb on the inner right heel while pressing my fingers into my outer right ankle. I'm just going to turn the foot a bit. It changes the shape of the shin bone on the floor. And we want to have the shin bone, it won't all be touching the floor because there's a curvature to it. But we want to move that shin bone down. We want to move the thighs down evenly. So here with my hands on the floor, I use that to help me lift the chest. So you can use a belt if you wish. The first time through, I'll use the belt. But it's a prop that's just a prop. You can use it or not as you may wish. So here I'm using the belt then to give me that leverage to really lift and open the chest. I want to keep pressing down with that right foot, right shin, both thighs move down, torso lifts up. We'll inhale, then exhale, come forward, again, just to the halfway point, whatever halfway is for you. And lengthen the navel and sternum out over that leg. Extend that left heel forward. Extend the left sit bone back. And then, either using the belt or reaching out to your foot, inhale again, lengthen, exhale, fold into the forward bend. Triang Mukhaikapada Paschimottanasana, three-footed foundation, seated forward bend. And again, as you're here, feel free to engage the pranayama, the mula, on the exhale, engage your mula bandha and your uddiyana bandha if you wish. But in any case, breathe evenly, calmly, easily. Find that place in the pose, even though it may be demanding in certain places and times. See if you can locate a calm, quiet breath. Okay, then inhale and ease your way back up. Extend that left foot forward in Dandasana. And take the left foot back in half hero. So the legs stay close together. They don't have to be touching, but they can be touching or close together. Once again, I like to kind of press down on the ball of the foot, pressing the top of the foot into the floor, and then taking the thumb on the inner heel, fingers on the outer ankle, and kind of turning that ankle out. And it changes the shape and positioning of the shin bone just a bit. And then we focus on moving the top of the foot, the shin down into the floor, the thighs down into the floor. Use your belt if you wish. Lift, open the chest, inhale, exhale, come to that position one. Look forward, lengthen the navel and sternum out over that right leg. Keep the sit bones evenly on the floor. There's a tendency to roll to the side if you're not using a prop under your sit bone. Extend that right heel forward, right sit bone back, right kneecap firm into the thigh. Both left shin and both thighs move down into the floor. And then you can either use the belt or reach out to your foot or leg. Inhale, lengthen the navel and sternum. Exhale, fold into the full forward bend. Triyang Mukhaikapada Paschimottanasana. So breathe there. Engage those bandhas if you wish. And then inhale, come back up. Return to Dandasana. One more time to each side. Bring that right foot back into half hero. We're going to go right into the pose this time. With no ado or little ado. Either use the belt or bring your arms up. Inhale, exhale, extend out. Get that full extension through the leg, through the torso, and with an exhale, fold into the full forward bend. And as you wish, you may engage those bandhas in the breath. And then inhaling, ease your way back up. Back to Dandasana. And then bring the left foot back. And once again, use the belt or not. Inhale, exhale, come to the first position, kind of settle yourself into the fully extended. Find those extensions, and then with another exhale, extend and fold into the full forward bend. Again, as you may wish, engage those bandhas, the Mula Bandha, the Uddiyana Bandha on the exhale, releasing them on the inhale. And then again, inhaling, come back up, extend both legs forward in Dandasana. Let's cross the legs, sit comfortably for a few breaths. And then we'll come to a standing posture. So for this, I'm going to turn my mat. Now, if you have a wall that's comfortable and convenient to you, you may wish to use it, but it's not critical. You can do without. So I want to do, people who've been in my classes are familiar with this pose, and it can be difficult. I'm going to step away for just a moment and get a couple of books so that I have blocks so that those are available. So you may want to have, these are not critical, but you may want to have blocks of books nearby. So first things first, take Tadasana. Nice upright standing pose. So just as we did lying down in Supta Tadasana, we want to start with the big toe mounds touching and the big toes touching. Then, as you may be comfortable with it, you have your heels touching and your ankles touching. Now for me, for whatever reason, I'm not sure what the anatomy of it is, but for me when I'm standing, those all go together very nicely. When I'm lying down, I like having my heels apart. For some people though, standing in this position, you may want to have your heels a little bit apart. And that can be especially helpful if you've got low back issues. But in any case, feet parallel to each other, but you may have your feet a little bit apart if you wish. And even if your big toes are touching, your heels may not. Your ankles may not. For some people, when you have your big toes and your heels touching, your ankles just cram together painfully. So we don't want that. So you make adjustments as you need to with the big toe mounds, the big toes touching for sure, and if you can, the heels, and if you can, the ankles. Tighten the kneecaps into the thighs. Lift the torso, open the chest. Press the big toe mounds into the floor and internally circularize the skin muscles of the thighs. Again, lift the torso, open the chest. Let's go with hands on hips for a moment. Reach the elbows back to really open the chest. Underside of the chin parallel to the floor and a soft gaze forward. Keep all of that, but bring your hands into Namaskar at the chest. Pressing the palms together evenly. And then extend the arms up in Urdhva Hastasana. Separate the palms so you can really get the elbows extended fully straight. Turn the palms to face forward. Imagine that your palms are on a wall and you're pressing the palms into the wall and lifting the upper arms back to or behind your ears. Heels extend down. Kneecaps firm into the thighs. Fully extend up through the palms and fingertips. And then come back to Namaskar. And then we'll take downward facing dog. If you're using a wall, you'll have your heels on the wall. At whatever height you normally have your heels in downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Palms open, pressing down into the floor. Extend straight through the elbows, extend straight through the knees. Tighten the knees into the thighs, lift the thighs back, extend the heels down and into the wall. Lengthen the armpit chest away from the thighs. Let the head and neck release. We'll stay here for a few breaths. If you wish to engage those bandhas here as well, you can. Feel free to engage Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha on the exhales. And then walk yourself into a standing forward bend. And again, as you move into that quiet, even breath, you can engage those bandhas. On the exhales, you can engage Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha as you may wish, and release them on the inhale. And then with an inhale, come on. All right, so I want to do the little exercise where if you have a wall, you can extend your heels into the wall and floor in downward dog, or actually in a forward bend. And then we walk the hands out into downward dog. Now, if you're not using a wall, that's okay. Just pretend that the wall is there. So the way we'll do this is stand in Tadasana, but with your feet apart, a few inches. You may want to have your blocks or books nearby. Kneecaps firm into the thigh, chest open, torso lifting. Bring the arms up, fully extend up. Inhale. Exhale, forward bend. So you can bring your hands down to your legs or the floor if you can reach, or you use blocks. Kneecaps firm into the thighs, head and neck release. Now walk your heels back to the wall and your hands as needed. So that now your heels are on the floor.
And you walk yourself back until you can get your buttocks right against the wall. So for many people, you'll need something, a chair for your hands or blocks. I'll go ahead and use the books just so that I can show the idea. The idea is to be in a position where you can press the back of your legs against the wall. Kneecaps firm into the thighs, head and neck release. And so now we're going to start walking out. Even if you're not using a wall, keep your heels on the floor, whether you've got a wall or not. And then you walk your hands forward into a downward dog-like shape of the pose, but only so far as you can keep your heels on the floor. Don't lift your heels. Let the head and neck release. Keep the heels pressed into the floor. You may find you can inch your way further forward. You can feel free to engage those bandhas again, although in this more stressful pose, sometimes it can be too much of a distraction to go into the breath. But see if you can. All right, and then walk your feet away from the wall. Walk your hands back toward your feet until you're in a standing forward bend again. And then inhale and come up. Be careful about being a little lightheaded. Okay, we'll do that one more time. So start with your Tadasana. Bring the arms up. Inhale. Exhale. Forward bend. Walk your legs, feet back to the wall. Same thing, if you wish, you can use the blocks or a chair. And get your buttocks all the way back to the wall. And then extend your heels down and lift your sit bones up the wall. So we're getting maximum extension through the legs. Then keeping your heels on the floor, start walking your hands forward into a downward dog shape. Don't let the heels come off the floor. This will be a major test in the calves and hamstrings for most of us. Keep the kneecaps firm into the thighs. Let the head and neck release. Go into that pranayama, those bandhas, as you may wish. And then walk your way back into that standing forward bend. Take hold of your ankles. Look forward, arch the low back. And with an exhale, using a little arm strength, draw the forehead toward your shins. Let the head and neck release. Heels extend down, sit bones extend up. And again, ease your way up, inhaling. Tadasana. All right. So gather up what you're going to want for Shavasana, and then we'll sit and we'll do a little bit more of an extended pranayama. But have your Shavasana set up in place so that you'll be able to go right to Shavasana. Once you've got that, then sit in a comfortable cross-legged posture. So just to reiterate, the Mula Bandha is where we engage that central perineal tendon, and then as we hold it, we lift, we engage the whole urogenital muscular triangle and lift the pelvic floor. The Uddiyana Bandha, we
draw back. And if you want to do it with the vacuum, you exhale fully. And while you're holding after the exhale, you create that vacuum. But again, if you struggle with that vacuum, or you can't hold your breath after the exhale, then you just do it muscularly. You just draw it back muscularly. That's fine. And of course, the Jalandhara Bandha is just the one where you've got this lock, energy lock at the chest, at the top of the chest, base of the throat. So those are the bandhas. I'm going to talk us through the whole breath, which involves holding breath after the inhale and exhale. For people who don't feel comfortable with that, just ignore it. Just just keep breathing. So when I say inhale fully and hold, don't hold. If you're not comfortable with that, just go ahead and exhale and just do on your own. If you wish to engage the bandhas while doing that, just engage Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha on the exhale and release them on the inhale. Okay. Sit upright, torso lifted, chest open. You can use the mudras. As such, these are also basically bandhas, mudras that are energy locks. The jhana mudra, the index finger and the thumb tips touch, and the hands are extended out, palms up. Or you can use a vipassana meditation kind of version where you just overlap your hands in your lap. That's perfectly fine as well. There are others, but we'll just go with that for now. So take a few breaths with a nice upright torso, chest open, kind of a free energetic flow through the lower body, the Muladhara chakra, having been engaged quite well through the class. Eyes closed, lift the chest, take the chin down toward the chest. Take a few more breaths here. We'll begin by taking a full, complete inhale, expanding the chest. And then a full, complete exhale. And then again, inhale, lift, expand the chest, fill the chest with air. Hold, engage Mula Bandha, engage that central perineal tendon. Keep that engagement of the central perineal tendon as you exhale, and as you move through your exhale, engage the full urogenital triangle and lift the pelvic floor. When you complete the exhale, hold the breath and engage Uddiyana Bandha. Release those bandhas. Inhale. Hold. Engage Mula Bandha. Keep Mula Bandha as you exhale. Gradually engaging the whole pelvic floor and lifting the pelvic floor. Completing the exhale, engage Uddiyana Bandha. Release those bandhas. Inhale. Hold. Engage Mula Bandha. Keep Mula Bandha as you exhale. Hold. Engage Uddiyana. Release the bandhas. Inhale. Hold. Engage Mula Bandha. Keep Mula Bandha as you exhale. hold, engage Uddiyana. Release the bandhas, inhale. Continue on your own. Breathing in and out through the nose. Stay comfortable with it. If you find yourself getting agitated or jittery, then just go into normal, comfortable breathing until you feel comfortable with a restart. Don't push through any tension or anxiety in pranayama. After your next hold, after exhale, return to normal breathing. Then without opening your eyes, with an inhale, lift your chin. And then with an exhale, you can open your eyes if you wish. But in any case, stretch out into your shavasana. Start with your legs extended, straight, feet together, as if you're doing Supta Tadasana. Chest open, hands on the floor, palms up, or hands on your torso or abdomen, palms down. Separate your feet a few inches and let the feet and legs roll out away from each other and just fall off to the sides. Let the whole lower body release. Suspend any effort, any tension. Let the hips release, the pelvis release. You may be aware of a continuing awareness of an energetic and muscular engagement from the Mula Bandha, and also in the abdomen from the Uddiyana Bandha. You can relax into that while still feeling that bit of energy or engagement. So there's no effort, and yet there's a sense of energetic movement, perhaps. Go with that. Let the weight of the torso release. Let the chest soften, shoulders soften. Be aware of that space of the Jalandhara Bandha, base of the throat. Same thing there. Be completely at ease. And yet, an awareness of perhaps a bit of engagement of energetic movement there as well. So there's a kind of energetic calm, a tranquil, energetic state. Soften the jaw, soften any tension from the skin and muscles of the face and scalp. Let the weight of your head go. Soften the neck, soften the throat. Let everything release. Breathe quietly, softly. Lose the eddies. Tranquil yet still. Nice, calm, energetic flow. All right, take a few slightly deeper breaths. Bring awareness back in your fingers and toes. Keep your eyes open. Bring your hands to your abdomen or torso. Bend your knees. And roll to your side. Stay here on your side for a few more breaths. When you come up, keep your neck at ease. Bring the crown of your head up last. So you use a little arm strength to push to a seated posture. Right. Thank you for coming. Namaste.